welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be building this tiny house and we're only going to be using Tiny Living and basegame to do so. If you guys never used Tiny Living, what it's about, it's a stuff pack that came out a while ago and it basically lets you build smaller houses. And you might be thinking to yourself, well, I can already build a smaller house. What's so special about that? Well, the thing that's special is that if you do build a smaller house and you play in it, you'll get certain perks for doing so. So basically, when you build houses with this stuff pack, you have 3 tiers of houses that you can build. First tier is a micro home, second tier is a tiny home, and third tier is a small home. You can see in the upper left corner of my screen right now what the requirements are. So it's basically the number of tiles the house is. Depending on that, it will go into a certain tier. The one that we're building today is classified as a tiny home since it has exactly 64 tiles, which is kind of the limit for a house like this. And if you guys decide to download this house from my gallery and play it, or if you download any other house that's a tiny home, the perks that you get with this house when you play with it is you get your skills to increase at double the speed than what they normally do. You also get cozy comforts, which means everything in the house will be twice as comfortable than what it normally is. So you have any couch that's like kind of old, you'll still get all the comfort, but you get like double the comfort. Not all the comfort, but like, you know what I mean. Anyways, you also get lower bills just because you have less of a space. You get your bills to be lowered as well. And these things are so important. Like if you're playing any sort of challenge or if you're doing any gameplay, it's so nice because sometimes it's so boring to just sit there and try and build up your skills and like it takes forever to get the promotion. But if you're playing in a house like this, you get to buff those skills up basically and like get them twice as fast. And also the last perk that you get with a build like this is that you feel fine all the time, which basically means if your sim is happy, inspired, or focused, any of those buffs will last twice as long than what they normally do in a regular gameplay. So it's so useful and it's so nice to play in houses like this. If you're playing any of the challenges, I definitely recommend you to try it if you haven't before. So for today's house, if you do decide to download this house, it's not really a starter home. Just because we kind of went over the budget for a starter home, I decided since I'm limiting myself with the packs, I will not limit myself with my budget. So I kind of went all out when it comes to this house. Well, not all out, but like just a little bit crazy. So what I did is I kind of like invested quite a bit of money in this outdoor area and I just wanted it to look very beautiful, very green, very lush, just very inviting. So we added all these bushes and I also ended up adding this trail which will lead to kind of our rooftop area, and I'm going to be adding all these flowers around it, and this is a very easy way to complete your like your landscaping, and it just makes it look so good and so beautiful. And it's just adding these kind of like flower bushes and I add them all over and all around the pathway, and they just look so pretty. I love that. So that's basically what we did today, and we kind of added this rooftop area just because we're so limited when it comes to the space inside a house. I just wanted to have this bit of extra space where your sim can kind of lounge, enjoy the outdoor area, and enjoy the sun. And I also added little planter boxes, and I will be adding an easel here as well. I just thought it's such a nice idea to be kind of outdoors, like bathing in the sun and just like painting the nature or whatever else. But yeah, that was kind of the idea behind this. Or if you have like friends over, they can come and they can enjoy and you can just lounge in these chairs. So yeah, pretty much now all that's left for us to do with the outdoors is just add some outdoor lighting because I wanted this whole space to pop a little bit at night. So I'll also be adding some of these lights downstairs with all these flower bushes, so it kind of like lights up the whole pathway as like you're passing by, and it just adds a bit of like that magical feeling. Yeah, I think it looks so pretty. So once we've done that, I'm just going to be adding some windows. And one thing that I did in this build is I use these windows, which I tend to use quite a bit in my builds if I'm using base game. I think they're very versatile and you can kind of combine them in different shapes and forms and just get your own custom windows. So today I did this thing where you can see the shape I went for, and I think it looks so nice and it just looks very interesting. So it adds a bit of like spice to your house, if that makes sense. And the last thing we're going to be doing with the outdoors is just adding a bit of terrain paint. And if you never do that, I'd recommend starting to do that because it just completes the look of the house. In real life, you'd never have this perfect grass and just like nothing around it. If the house is laying there, it needs to have a little bit of terrain paint around it because that's just how it is. And now we're on the indoors. So what I did on the indoors, I kind of made this room and I lifted it up to make a platform and raise it up. So this is going to be our bedroom. I didn't want to add too many walls to the indoor area just because it's so small. So I didn't want it to look super cramped, and like sometimes when you add so many walls and the space is so small, it just becomes very claustrophobic and it looks like an old school floor plan where it's like so many like little hallways and stuff like that, and you end up having like so much wasted space. So with this, I just kind of lifted this up and it will be like a studio house basically, and that's where we're going to place our bed, and we're going to create like a little nook for your sim to have. And I went for this green wallpaper. Interestingly enough, I never used this wallpaper before, I don't think. And I just saw it and I was like, I'd use that. And I think it turned out pretty well. I just added a bit of like little pizzazz to our room. It just looks nice. At least I like it. And I also really like this bed swatch. I never seen it before. I kind of like ran into it and I think it fit perfectly with this space because it's not too loud. And it has a little bit of a green hue to it. So now I'm just going to be adding a bit of extra details to this space, and I'll be using a lot of stuff from Tiny Living, like this little poof. And yeah, I add here this desk, which we're going to make like in this little nook. I just made like a little study area for your sim. And that's one thing that's, I feel like it's so important when you do builds like this that are very small and limited when it comes to space. It's how you're going to use your floor plan and where you're going to place everything. You need to make sure you use every single tile and you just like make it functional and just flowing and cohesive, the whole space. And that can be very hard to do with these smaller spaces. And yeah, this is pretty much our bedroom all done up. I just added this little bit that I feel like it helped with the busyness of the wallpaper that we have there. It just made it a little bit less busy, like added a bit of calmness. And now we're off to our living room. So when it comes to the living room, I kind of just took everything from Tiny Living and just threw it out there. I think it turned out pretty cute, but I went with this black color scheme. And I do tend to go for black quite a bit because I think it looks very chic and it looks very modern. And I also made these kind of like nesting tables. I'm sure you guys have seen it before, and I just used this table from Tiny Living, and then I used the same table 3 times. I just made the other 2 smaller by pressing Control on the square brackets. And it just makes for this like really nice modern look. If you guys want to see another way to do this with like different tables, I do have a video. I will put the link at the end of this one if you guys want to check that out. And yeah, this is pretty much what our living room will look like. I think this lamp that came with this pack as well, with this stuff pack, it's so pretty. And I think Sims lacks on floor lamps. I just don't think it has like very nice and modern ones, at least not the ones that are to my taste. And yeah, I should also say I don't really on this account I don't really have all the stuff packs and all the expansion packs, just because I had it before and it wasn't my account, but I always used to play on it and I kind of know what they all are about and I know all of them. So now when I got my own account, I kind of just bought the ones that I felt like are worth it, and this is one of them that I definitely think it's very like it's a lot of fun to have. And if you guys would like me to like go more in detail on that, on which account, which expansion packs and stuff packs I like, I can do that as well. Just let me know. And here we are now. I used this kitchen from that's basegame, I believe, and I do love this kitchen, but the one thing that I really dislike is these upper cabinets. Like, I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like these upper cabinets do not match this kitchen at all. And I'm pretty sure they're meant to be like a set, like they're matching ones. And I just feel like I just dislike these quite a lot. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's not a matching cabinet. I think that would make more sense than this being matching. But yeah, anyways, we're just going to be adding some more detail into our kitchen. And I added one thing that I added to this build is a coffee machine, and I never add coffee machines in Sims 4. Like, I don't know why, but it's always an afterthought when it comes to like my builds. And I know there's some people that are obsessed and have to have it in every build. So I just thought it was fun because now I didn't have a limit to my budget, so I can kind of afford it. But I just feel like they're a bit clunky and they're just so big. And yeah, I just don't use them as much. So we're pretty much done when it comes to our kitchen. We're just going to add now a door to our toilet, and we're going to decorate this toilet. I went with this like kind of weird shape. I added this extra tile because I was thinking that's where my shower would be, and that's a really nice way to do like a built-in shower. As you can see, you can just place it in this little nook, and it just looks very nice and snug, and I love it. And this is as well this little carpet that I make it smaller and I put it in front of the shower. I do that in almost every one of my builds. I just think that's so nice. I love that carpet. I think it fits so perfectly. And that's pretty much what our toilet will look like. The last thing that we're going to be adding in the end is we're just gonna finish this we're going to be finishing this outdoors area, like this study nook, and we're going to add a computer, and we're going to be adding a painting as well, like some artwork, just to make the place a little bit more nicer to live in. And that's pretty much our build. Let me know if you guys enjoyed this video, and if you liked it, please subscribe and like, and I'll see you guys next time.